All right, we're recording. Welcome to the Redemption Dynasty team call. It is the, what's today? 28th. And we're going to start with recognition. So I'm going to share my screen. You can just see all my hot mess screen. Okay. Don't judge my screen. It's very messy. All right. So we have changed 12 lives overall, which is so exciting. I literally love just seeing like week to week the growth that we're making and more and more lives being changed. It just gives me goosebumps, and I'm so excited. We have 3 days left of the month, which is so cool because there's still so much that you can do with that time. I feel like a lot of times people like check out early and things, but I've been there where those last 3 days are literally game changers. So do not give up, whether you are one of the people that are almost there or you haven't, your name's not even on here yet. It's so possible, so doable. You guys have been so consistently sharing. You guys can so hit Success Club within the next couple of days. So I'm just going to go over or name the people that have their name on the board. So Nathaniel, he has 2. Amanda has 2 successful points. Crystal has 2, and myself with 14. The top recruiter this week is me, and the top contributor is Stephanie, which is so cool, which means you're being a leader, stepping up in the boot camp. Absolutely so important, especially when you jump out on your own. Okay, so my social media shout out. There was a couple of you that I was like toying between, but Amanda is literally a brand new freaking person right now. And she is one of my day one coaches. She signed up with me in like, I don't know, June or something, a really long time ago. And she doesn't even look or sound like the same human being anymore. But she's consistently sharing her transformations. And I just think that is business changing, y'all, when you guys are showing up and showing your transformations and showing people what this can do for you, whether that's small or little. This just happened to be one from her beginning till now, but she also has lots of them from, she also has lots where it's like a week, or like Stephanie, I know you just had one that was a week. So just make sure that in your top so many pictures, you're seeing a transformation picture, because that speaks to people. Doing that consistently is going to show people what this can do. I just posted one, and I post them all the time, and just had 4 people like message me and ask me about it. And there's lots of times that I don't get anybody, but they're watching those transformations. So just make sure you're continuing to share those. And I think, that's not it. Yeah. Announcements, Team Cup. If you're not on a Team Cup team, get on a Team Cup team. You have 3 days to do so. So make sure that you jump on one. Summit, I know a lot of you heard Martha talk yesterday. There's 3 more days of the sale. So if you're thinking about it, right now is the time to sign up so that you can get the discounted price. If you haven't seen Martha's live, go watch it, because her summit experience is literally life-changing. And I think that she explains it so well. So go watch that. Now I get to introduce Megan, which I'm so excited about. So Megan Jones and I started literally like the same week in coaching. And like she was saying on her team call, that we are like sisters. Like we've been in this business side by side from day one. And that's so cool. I know some of you guys have that too, where you came in at the same stage. And so it's just, she is one of the most inspiring and most consistent people that I know, and just super joyful. So I'm super excited to turn it over to her. She is a full-time teacher. She's been coaching since March. She is newly a 1-star qualification, almost 1-star diamond coach, which is so exciting. So I'm going to turn it over to her and just kind of let her drop all of the mics. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Ready, go.
Thanks, Teresa. Can you guys hear me? Okay, awesome. I'm so excited. I've been looking forward to this literally for the whole week since we talked about this. And I my heart goes out to Teresa and anything she does. I just love all things Teresa. So I'm so honored to be here right now. And it's so fun to think about this time last year how Teresa and I were not even coaches. And it's crazy to see how much changes in a year. And I hope that that inspires and excites you all because, oh my gosh, incredible things can happen in just very little time in this business. So like she said, I have been coaching since the very end of March. We signed up like the same weekend, I think. I teach fourth grade full time. And if you guys are teachers or if you know teachers, you know that that means life is crazy busy always. And this year we bought our first house, and I moved schools and grade levels all in the span of a month. And on top of that, my puppy had emergency surgery and like life was crazy. And like that month of July this year taught me so much about the importance of going back to the basics and being incredibly consistent and focused on your goals. And I definitely have gone through my own struggles in this business and frustrations and phases where things feel easy and comfortable and then where they feel really uncomfortable. So know that I'm coming from a place of I've been there, I am always there, but I want to share with you some of my perspective on the importance of being consistent in this business, because I think that it's just, you know, when I think about qualities that I look for in a coach when I'm signing them to my team, if I could somehow assess how consistent they were going to be, that would be the quality that I would look for in a coach. And especially when life gets so busy, that's when these principles matter most. So I actually went ahead and did some dictionary searching because I'm a teacher and that's what I do. So the definition of consistency, and this kind of like sparked this like crazy train of thought for me, but the definition of consistency is adhering to the same course or track. So that's that concept of like, yeah, things are falling in my path. Yeah, I have all these other paths I could go down, but I'm staying on this one path and I see my goal and I'm focused on it. And honestly, that's kind of the vision of consistency I've always had in my head. And then the definition, the other alternative definition underneath it blew my mind because it was talking more about, you know, when you talk about like, oh, this consistency of this sauce is runny or whatever. And so then it's talking about if you're consistent, you retain form and you're firm. And to me, like these two definitions are opposites and so different from each other, but at the same time are everything that a coach should be, right? Focused on your path and consistent and moving down that path, but retaining your form and sticking to what you believe to be true and being firm with who you are and where you're going. So it's that boldness of like moving forward with your goals. So I hope that that blows your minds like it blew mine, because I just thought that was so cool. So today I'm going to talk to 3 specific points. And usually I have some sort of slide or something like that. And today I just really wanted to share with you from my heart and just like go into a little bit of how this has impacted my story. And I think I keep coming back to this analogy in this business is that it always, always, always relates so closely to our own health and fitness journeys. And everything we do in this business, literally, I feel like I could tie back into a workout or a nutrition program or something like that. And what I mean by that in this case is, you know, when I have someone who tells me, you know, I'm too busy, I can't work out, I actually laugh at that these days. Like I'm like, 20-minute workouts, like I can't make this easier for you. Literally, it's right there in front of you. We've got amazing programs that are hardcore and 20 minutes only, right? So if I don't allow busy to be an excuse for my own health and fitness, I can't allow busy to be an excuse for my own business either. And that kind of also goes into this concept of like, I can't start off January 2019 and be like, I'm going to eat 52 salads on January 1st. And then I'm off the hook for the year. I'm good. Surely I will lose weight because I've eaten all the veggies I need, right? Like I can't do that. I can't just nonstop run for a day and then expect that I'm just going to lose weight for the rest of the month, right? That's just not how it works. Our health and fitness is about showing up every day and knowing the activities that get us to our goals and doing them every single day, no matter what. And it can be in smaller increments, but it doesn't work if you just do it once and hope for the best, right? So that would be the first thing that I say to being consistent is it's not enough to just show up. You have to really know what it is that you're showing up to. I work very limited business hours. I literally work from 5 a.m. to 6:15 a.m. and then hope for the best in the evenings. But I know that in that 1 hour in the morning that I have to control, I have to get in the essential business activities for my day. And it's just taken an incredible amount of reflection and thought into what are the legitimate things that I need in my business. And I know that Beachbody does a great job of giving us our 4 vitals, but for me, it even goes further into, I have this super long to-do list. What is it that I legitimately have to have done today? So I really try to narrow it down just like you would narrow down, if I want to lose weight, I need to eat vegetables, work out every day or 6 days a week or whatever, and I need to sleep and drink my Shakeology, right? If you can name those 4 or 5 activities that are going to get you your results, then when you have a limited amount of time, you can be super focused and purposeful with that time. And Teresa, okay, you have to let me know if this is your quote because I wrote this down last week in my planner and it literally might have been from your call, but it stuck with me all week and now I'm going to bring it right back to you. Hopefully, I don't know. So this quote says, change is inevitable, but growth is intentional. Was that you that said that? Maybe? Okay. Okay, well, the concept of we're always, always, always changing, right? I can literally sit on the couch and I'm going to change. Yeah, I'm going to gain weight. If I never get up off the couch, I'm going to gain weight, right? Or I'm going to lose muscle, or I'm going to do whatever, right? I can wake up every day and go through the motions and things are still going to change for me whether I'm trying for it or not. But if I want things to grow instead of change negatively, I have to be super purposeful with that. So if you think about a flower, which I'm notorious for being the worst plant mom ever, I kill everything. But if you think about a plant and you cannot just put it on the counter and walk away from it and hope it'll survive. You are either going to choose to water it and help it grow, or you are going to choose to ignore it and help it die. I mean, day by day, the progress is slow, but that plant is either growing or it is dying, and there's no in between, just middle of the road hanging out, right? So for me, that's really the mentality that I've had to take with this business. And I know that people use the escalator analogy a lot, but for me, that analogy actually gives me anxiety because I think about how stressful escalators legitimately are for me. And so I go back to the plant analogy. And it's this concept of, yeah, I'm tired on this Tuesday, or I'm exhausted and it's been a long week and it's Friday night and I didn't get to my business stuff, but it's fine. Am I okay admitting to myself that I'm letting my business literally die? And I know that that seems dramatic, but it just takes one day next to one more day, next to one more day, and what do you know? You've killed your business. I mean, it's over, right? So just like that though, in the same way, it can literally be one day where you choose to water your business, and then one more day where you choose to water your business, and then just one more. And by then you've built your business and it's grown. So, and yeah, Teresa, it's so easy to slide into that feeling of like, I'll do it tomorrow, and then I'll do it tomorrow. And then, you're a week behind and you're like, what happened? I'm so far away from my goals. And I love that Teresa even said at the beginning of this call, like, you guys were at the end of the month, but it's a big push because this is right now is where your business, like, it's a make it or break it time, right? So either you're choosing to show up or you're not. And there's really no in between. Well, it might happen and it might not, right? So I encourage my team of coaches to set goals about Success Club and rank and all of that. But I also encourage them to set goals that they absolutely 100% can control themselves. So while one of my coaches might have a goal of hitting diamond this month, I also encourage her to have a goal of, how many hours of your business are you going to work? Or how many invites are you going to send? Or how many coach sneak peeks are you going to run this week or this month? Things that are 100% in her control, because she might not hit that rank, and it might be because Sally Jane couldn't get her act together and make her account active in time, right? And that's not really back on my coach, because if she's doing all of the other activities she's already listed out, she knows that she's found success, right? And you know that you're down the road going to see those benefits. Just like in health and fitness, I'm going to keep bringing it back and forth, but in our health and fitness, I can say, hey, my goal this week is I'm not going to eat sugar, or I'm going to work out all 6 days of the week. I'm not going to miss a workout. I can't say I'm going to lose 2 pounds right off my hips, and I would like to tone this bicep. Like, I can't say that, right? Just like I can't literally control who goes emerald or not. I have to just be willing to show up and do the things and know that it's going to fall into place for myself. A big part of this goes into having a plan. And I am a teacher. So I color code and I sticky note and I plan everything probably to a fault. But in this business, the things that you can control need to be controlled. And you need to be really intentional, because if you're purposefully controlling the things that you can, everything else that you can't control is going to happen for you more clearly and more effortlessly. So I make a weekly plan. Every Sunday I sit down and I plan out my week down to literally highlighting in my planner the exact hours that I'm going to work my business. And the reason I prefer to do this is because then at the end of the week, when I'm looking back and I know I didn't work Wednesday from 5 to 6 p.m., to me, that's like in my head, I know that that was me choosing to not water my plant, right? I'm walking away from my business at that time. It's not like, I just ran out of time. If I identify those hours up front, really, there's no reason for me not to follow through on it. The other thing that I am a huge advocate for, but I also am going to be real with you and tell you that I struggle to do this as well, because life gets crazy, but it's so important to sit down and think about your month. I know that it's easy, February 1st is coming up, and it's easy to be like, oh, I didn't get to it before February 1st. I'll just do it this weekend. And then, you procrastinate on it. The sooner you can set your intentions for the whole month, you'll be able to work backwards and literally break it down to the exact tasks that you need to be doing day by day. So for me, if I want to hit Success Club 20 by the end of the month, I know exactly I need to hit Success Club 5 every single week. And then I know what that means on a day-to-day basis, right? So that also goes with planning your challenge groups and your coach sneak peeks. And I know that these are things you guys hear all the time, but I'm telling you that if you're going to be consistent, showing up to clock in doesn't quite do it in this business. You actually have to do the right tasks. And if you're not planning ahead, you're going to show up and waste 45 out of your 60 valuable minutes. And that's just not worth it, right? At that point, just do your 15 minutes of work. For me, I have gotten my daily negotiables down to like a 55-minute science. And I give myself an hour and 15 minutes in the morning, because I know that things happen and I want to have that flexibility of, having an extra conversation with someone who needs me right then and there, or things like that. But I have literally listed out, like right now in my planner, I have a list of the daily things. And I don't know if you use Asana, but I have them as repeating tasks on my to-do list in my Asana tracker. So every morning when I log in, it shows up as the first 6 things that I have to do every single day. And I know that if I don't check those things off, I don't get to say that I'm done with my business hours, right? I'm going to come home after work. I'm going to do it at lunch because those things are non-negotiables. Just like if I was working a shift, I used to be a receptionist at this tanning salon. If I was working a shift at Paradise, I can't just be like, oh, sorry, yeah, I had to book out. My shift was over and I couldn't count the drawer. Sorry. You have to do the things. You don't get to leave until your job is done. And it's the same thing with this. You just don't have a boss breathing down your neck. You have to be your own boss. My last and biggest point here, my biggest fear in telling my coaches to be consistent is that they're going to settle into a routine that leads them towards complacency instead of consistency. And the concept of being complacent is when you're willing to accept good enough. And when you're willing to say like, yeah, I did all my 1 hour activities and I do have extra time and I'm choosing to walk away. It's like if I had my plant and I watered it and I have a bag of fertilizer there for my plant and I'm choosing, I think it's good enough. Water will do. Sure, the plant will survive, but it's not going to thrive because I haven't chosen to give it the extra love and care that it needs. Teresa's puppy is so cute. In high school, I ran cross country and track and field. And I always did the distance events in track and field. And so the 2 mile was my jam. Now, I don't know how much you know about track and field, but you do 4 laps for 1 mile. So doing a 2 mile race means that you're doing 8 laps around the same damn track. And you are basically being tortured because every single person that cares about your running career is watching you and scrutinizing you for 8 laps. And it's really long. I loved it. And I would get so exhilarated by the fact that people couldn't imagine running 8 laps around the track. And I just was enjoying every minute of it. And it became almost a science to me, to the point where, in practice, I would practice getting these even splits. My coach would say, I need you to run a 6-minute first mile. And I could break that down to being 3-minute 800 and a minute and a half each 400, right? And it wasn't just math. I was literally able to train my body to run the exact splits every time. So that served me really well in racing because I wasn't distracted by everything else. I wasn't worried about the girl in front of me or the girl behind me. My body knew the exact pace to run because I had consistently practiced it. And every single lap that I had done, my body knew what that pace felt like. So I did my fastest 2 mile race. And at the end, my coach was like, you are not going to believe this. And he showed me the paper that I had run, and 8 laps, each lap was within 1 second of each other. And you're not allowed to run with watches or anything like that. So I had no concept. It was literally drilled into my body to run that pace. That's what I mean with this business. I want it to be so second nature to you that you know nothing different than to show up for your business every single day, no matter which girl is in front of you or behind you, no matter how windy it is, no matter whether it's nighttime or daytime, no matter what you are doing in your day, I want it to be so natural. But here is the thing that I thought of after he showed me those splits. I asked myself if I had held back in that last lap, because there's no way that I had the same amount of drive and excitement for the race in lap 2 as I did in lap 8 as I'm coming around that last bend sprinting toward the finish. And in that moment, I realized that consistency had served me well for about 6 out of the 8 laps. And in those last 2 laps, when I should have been able to give it 100% and focus on getting that finish and pouring my heart and soul into the race, I had been more focused on doing the basics that I had already trained my brain to do. And the reason I'm telling you this long, drawn-out track story to a bunch of people who probably don't care about running is that I don't want you to rely on your consistency to be all that you have in this business. And if I'm being honest, that has been me for probably 6 out of my 9 months of coaching. I've relied on my consistency to show up and do the bare minimum. And in the last few months, my business has grown so much faster than in the past because I've realized that doing that bare minimum that I've trained myself to do, to show up, open my business doors, check the drawer, close out, everything that a business owner should do, in doing that, I lost that fire and that passion that comes from the dead sprint at the end. So I'm going to preach consistency over and over and over to you, but I want you to know that, for example, in the last 3 days of the month of January, you should no longer be relying on consistency and on running the even splits around the track. You should be relying on that fire that is inside of you and why you started, and focus so hard on that metaphorical finish line at the end of January. And when you cross that line on January 31st, I hope that you can't breathe. I hope that you are bent over, almost on the verge of throwing up, because you know you've given it everything. I don't want you to walk away from that track and see, I ran even splits, but could I have given it more? So I want you to be willing to be consistent in this business, but I want you to push your boundaries on what that looks like every single day. So what I mean by that is, instead of saying, I consistently hit Success Club, and so I'm going to keep doing that, I want you to step it up. And if right now you've hit Success Club regularly, you're going to start hitting Success Club 10 regularly. I want you to level up with your consistency. If you're saying, hey, I've got this power hour thing down, I can show up for my business an hour a day easy, this is something I can be consistent at, well, guess what? That's no longer going to cut it. You're going to level up, and now you're going to show up 2 hours a day consistently, right? In this business, if you're not willing to level up and show up for your business, you're not going to grow, and your business is not going to grow. So I have 2 homework assignments for you guys, because I'm a teacher, and that's what teachers do. The first thing I want you to do is sometime, and you guys can send this to Teresa or me, I would love to see them, but sometime in the next week, I want you guys to really think about your 5 non-negotiable business activities. What are those 5 things that you must absolutely do these activities every single day, no matter what? Like, is it invites? Is it following up? Is it checking in with your challenges? What are the 5 things? And I would encourage you to think of 5, because you can give 10 minutes to each activity at least and bust it out in an hour. You know, maybe one activity takes 5 and one takes 15. I'm sure you can figure that out. The second thing is, I want you to think of one thing that you are really consistent about right now. What is something that you can do every day? Like, are you consistently showing up on social media? Are you consistently showing up on team calls? Are you consistently checking in with your challenger? Are you consistently inviting? Whatever it is. And then I want you to think of how you can level up your consistency to another degree, right? So I consistently hit Success Club. Well, congratulations. Now you're going to consistently hit Success Club 10. And your 5 non-negotiable business activities should be completely oriented around how you're going to master that next level of consistency. I hope that makes sense. But I just want to encourage you to think about how you're showing up for your business every day. And if it's not something that you feel proud of, if it's not something that is a work of your heart, not just punching the time clock, I mean, most of us are in this business because we don't like punching the time clock, right? Because we don't like just showing up and doing our bare minimum jobs. Show up and do everything you've got every day. And I know that sounds easier said than done, but when it's in that routine, when you're in the routine and it's just a part of you, you're going to see so much growth in your business. And I can't wait to celebrate with you. That's what I've got.
Okay, I am literally obsessed with you. And I'm pretty sure I've told you that before, but I'm so obsessed. Like I wrote all of the notes, like literally this whole page is full. I'm just so excited. Okay, I just want to point out a couple things that like I was obsessed with if you guys have any questions for her, like pick her brain because that's why she's here. Something that I love that you intertwine this business with our health and fitness journey. Because for me personally, the health and fitness is easier than the business. For me personally, I don't make excuses for my health and fitness, very rarely. But for my business, it's so much easier for me to slide back. And so the way that you like, if I don't have time like to not work out, like if that's not an excuse, then how is that an excuse in my business? Like, or that eating 80 salads on January 1st isn't going to help me because I used to send like 100 invites on Sunday. Like, cool, but like, what about Monday through Saturday? So like, that literally is huge. In your flower analogy, like, I'm obsessed. Literally obsessed. Like, that like we are choosing. So every day you are either choosing to let your business die or to grow your business intentionally. And that's huge because so often I'm reading The Compound Effect right now, and he talks about how those little actions every single day are going to get you somewhere. Where is totally up to you. Like if you are choosing to do things mindlessly, or you are choosing to not engage in every activity and be aware of everything you're doing, that's when you're wasting your time. That's when you're not going to get like those huge goals. Cause like, that's when you like eat an entire bag of chips when you watch 3 episodes of Netflix, because you aren't intentionally engaging your mind in what you're doing. And that like is huge.
And even like, I don't know if you guys have ever experienced a workout where you just like, you definitely do the workout, but you like aren't really in it. You're not paying attention. You're just like doing the motions versus a workout where you're like, I'm ready. I'm paying attention to every move. I want my form to be perfect. Like you get a lot more out of that second one, right? And that's totally the same thing, like you were saying.
For sure. And then your running thing. I hate running. I know Stephanie likes to run. I don't know how to run. Woo-hoo! But I think that's like, I understand running, and I think that's such a good analogy. And I love that you said there's no way that you had the same amount of love, like, or passion or energy in the last 2 laps that you had in the first 2 laps. And if you think about this business every single day, like you should be growing in your PD. You should be falling more and more in love with your journey. So if you are like just as excited 10 months down the road as you were month 1, then you've not fallen more in love with your journey. You are not putting your health and fitness first. You are not getting excited about the things that should get you excited. And like, that's where you need to start. I don't know. That's just like, it's just so real. So real. And then leveling up your consistency, because we've talked about this. I was in that same boat where I got consistent. I did all the things. I was real consistent, but I was complacent and I wasn't like there. And so that leveling up your consistency, I think, is huge, literally huge. I have a question for you, totally kind of unrelated, but I don't know, does anyone else have any questions? I have a question that I have a lot of parents, wives on my team, and I can't relate to either of those things because I'm not a wife or a parent. I know you're not a parent, but I would love for you to speak. Just, I don't know anything about how your husband feels about the business, or how that, what that tension, if there's a tension, looks like. Yeah. I don't know. Can you speak into the like, what would you do if your husband wasn't supportive, or like, how does your husband support you? What does that look like?
Totally. I have had, it's been a process. Early on when I signed up, I think my husband expected me to quit. Like, I mean, there was no reason for him to believe otherwise. And I kind of did it like just saying, and I didn't really admit to him how much it mattered to me. You know, I was kind of like, I'm just going to try this. You know, if it's not for me, I'll stop, you know, and that gave him the impression that I was just in it to, you know, try it out and whatever. And I think as he's seen me get more serious about this, and it's not necessarily more successful, it's been as I've clearly shared my goals with him, or as I've spoken more about, you know, I've got a team call tonight, like I'm really excited about it, or I just signed a new coach, like I'm so excited. As I'm celebrating and sharing that aspect with him, he is growing and learning in that. And it's definitely still a struggle. I mean, just last week, I was like, come on, this is a big deal. Like, why aren't you excited for me? You know, like, get with it. And he's like, I just don't, you know, he's never touched the business. He's like, I just don't know what's a big deal or not. So it's been a big learning curve for me to share with him what matters to me and what doesn't, and kind of preparing him for how I need him to react. But I will also say that I have a coach on my team whose husband, actually she and her husband are like some of our best friends. They live like 3 houses down from us. She is all in, like crushing it, and her husband like is convinced that Beachbody is a scam and like will send us articles and like do all the things. And I honestly just pour love into that sweet coach and just am like, you're killing it. I want you to focus on 1 month at a time. And like, bottom line is he doesn't like that they spend money to make money. And I'm like, well, any business would. And you know, like this is how it is. And I've just encouraged her to just talk to him about it as often as she can and share her excitement and passion. And hopefully, I think he'll come around when he sees, look, this matters to her and she's sticking with it. Because every time that she's like, I don't think this is going to work because he's just not supporting me, I'm like, well, you're just going to prove him wrong if you quit now. You're just going to, or prove him right. You're just going to literally tell him and admit to him that everything he thought was right, just because you're not willing to, you know, put in your side to it and just have some grit through it. And I really, really believe that any person who originally thinks that they're against it could come around, just because just when they see a loved one get so transformed by something like this, it changes you.
Definitely. I've heard that. I've heard that they just care about you a lot, and they're just like, it's just that they care about you. We have like less than a minute, and I want to get a selfie. So if you are on here, can you undo your whatever it's called, your screen? Can I see your face, Anise? Can you hear me? You're here. You might as well be in this. Hello.
Potato.
Potato. All right, I'm gonna take a picture. 1, 2, 3, cheese. Awesome, Meg, I'm so thankful for you. Thank you so much for jumping on. If you guys have any questions, let me know. I will get them to her. And we have the Desire Empire call in 20 minutes. I will see you guys later. Bye.